Chapter 21. The Girl Who Stayed Behind. Not everyone leaves Neverland. Not everyone was meant to. Some are called to stay, and some choose to. Weeks later, the rebirth of the island. Neverland was healing. The scars of war had become part of its story. Bone flowers now grew from burned earth, and crystal water flowed where blood once soaked the ground. The magic was wilder now, freer, no longer bound to Peter alone, nor fractured through time. It belonged to the island again, and to those who stayed. At the hollow tree, new voices filled the glade, children who'd found their way through mirrors, through dreams, through grief too heavy to carry. Lost boys, lost girls, some grown, some scarred, none forgotten. And at their center stood a girl in green and gold. Wendy, but not the one who left. This Wendy had a sword at her hip, a ring of vines braided through her hair, and belladonna ink across her shoulder in the shape of a feather. She was not a guest. She was a guardian. The decision. Peter had offered her passage home. She stepped onto the boat, she had. But halfway through the mist, she turned back. The starlight boat waited, unsure. She looked to the sky and saw the island's story wasn't done. She stepped into the water and walked back. Peter met her on the beach, barefoot. "You changed your mind," he said. "No," she replied. "I just remembered who I am." Now in the heart of the forest, she sat beneath the singing tree, telling stories to the new arrivals. Not lies, not myths, truths. About a boy who couldn't grow up. About a girl who did. About a shadow who learned how to grieve. About a fae who burned too bright. About a monster who loved too deeply. And about choice. That every child had one. Stay, go, remember, forget. But only if they chose for themselves. Peter watched from the trees. He no longer led. He followed. He walked beside the ones who needed him, then stepped back. And as he watched Wendy speak, strong, laughing, scarred, he smiled. The island was hers now, as much as his. One night a stranger came. Not a child. An adult. Eyes like storm clouds, a voice like a torn page. He asked, "Is this the place for the broken?" Wendy looked at him, "No." He turned to leave. She touched his arm. "It's the place for those who want to heal." He stayed. Wendy, the grown girl, the guardian. She no longer carried a sword every day. Sometimes she planted trees. Sometimes she wrote in journals she would never publish. Sometimes she sat by the sea and spoke to her mother in the tide. But always, always she chose. That was the gift Neverland gave her. That was what she protected. Not eternal childhood, but the freedom to become.